Early on, when Jesus called the 12 men out of the larger circle of disciples to be his apostles, he labeled James and John. He said, yeah, I'm going to call you sons of thunder. Many times, I don't know if they're talking about mom or dad there or something else. I'm not sure who had the thunder there. Maybe it was both of them, mom and dad, sons of thunder. You know, the Lord was not caught by surprise by their bombastic personalities, which he also knew eventually he would redirect and empower for the Father's glory. So Luke, he records this event that allows us to see how these two brothers reflected this character trait. Jesus, he's making his way to Jerusalem, knowing that he's going to be crucified. He sent several of the apostles ahead to prepare the way for him, perhaps planning to stay overnight in a Samaritan village. And so they faced strong resistance, particularly from the locals. When the locals discovered that Jesus was headed through there and headed on to Jerusalem, the resistance is not surprising, since there had been prejudice and tension between Samaritans and Jews for years and years and years and years over different practices and how you follow God and worship him. So when James and John heard what had happened with this resistance coming from the Samaritans, they were furious. They were angry. And fulfilling his firstborn role, James must have shouted with disgust and in anger, Lord, do you want us to call down fire from heaven and just smoke them, destroy them, wipe them out? So at this point, these guys are terribly blind to their spiritual weakness, and they've missed what Jesus has been telling them. Remember what God told them on the mount? This is my son, listen to him. But they've missed it. They're terribly blind to their spiritual weaknesses, and what should have been this humbling experience fed their prideful personalities. So in his humanness, how do you think Jesus felt about all that? I'm trying to teach these boys some lessons. I don't think they're hearing my preaching. Are they paying any attention? I think he must have been terribly disheartened with this immature behavior. After all, they heard Jesus teach and preach about things like, God blesses the meek and the merciful and the peacemakers. Unfortunately, what happened with these great truths that they heard from Jesus? It didn't settle in. They heard it. They probably could repeat it. But it didn't change anything at this point. And so in one ear and out the other, they completely missed the Father's message when Christ was transfigured, that they were to listen to the Son of God. And what's more, you got to realize that Jesus' 3-year training period's almost over with them. He knows he's not going to be with them much longer. And he's been trying to teach them these things, and he's headed for the cross. And Jesus is visibly disturbed by their behavior. It says that Jesus rebuked both of them. They were offended. They went to call down fire from heaven, and Jesus rebuked them. And then they moved on to another village.